From the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Just ahead, with car sales hot, we check in with CarFax's Patrick Olson on what to look for when buying a car, new or used. Jeff has the Cruise In and events calendars. I'll bring you stories making automotive news headlines this week. That and more coming up in this half hour. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Chief Engineer David Ainsley is up. We don't know what he's doing in the backyard. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Thanks so much for being here with us. And also, we'd like to thank Patrick Olson with CarFax joining us this morning. Patrick, it's always good to see you, my friend. How you been?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry to have put you through all of that because I know that he's been on hold there for about 10 minutes, and he was subjected to all of the shenanigans that we've got going on this morning.
But it was a good story.
Yeah, it was. It was a good story.
It was a very good story,
yeah.
yes.
As a matter of fact, I think that there was a CarFax involved in Jeff's trade-in where he took the 3.3 and changed it out with a V. Don't you think? I'm sure you could get by with that, don't you?
It was tubbed out. It had a blower on it.
It sounds a little sketchy, to be honest.
There's no doubt about it. So I don't know whether you want to start with new or used cars. I know that your thing is used cars, but I know that you're really focused in on new car sales because new car sales has a direct impact on used car sales. Give us your take on that.
So I would say, in terms of buying new, like right now is probably a great time as the questions about tariffs are kicking around. There's still a decent amount of inventory on dealers' lots right now that was there before the tariffs. And so dealers are eager to, sell those. And we definitely saw a surge in sales in March and the first half of April as kind of double what we saw a year before. So there's definitely a lot of consumers who are trying to beat whatever price hikes are coming with tariffs. So if you want to buy new, I think now is a good time to out and see what's around before the pickings get slim.
Well,
But of course, for me, I'm always thinking about used cars. And, as we get to graduation or summer jobs or teenagers and things like that, I think parents have to consider a lot of things when they're figuring out what car to get their teen or their grad.
Well, and, I will tell you that there was a time, not that long, well, it was a long time ago, but it wasn't a long time ago for us older friends. And I will say that I had a chance to, give my daughter a 16th birthday gift for a car. And I went out and found a slightly used car that had been repossessed somewhere in the Carolinas. And it was a stripped-down model of a Ford Focus. It was less than a year old. It had 1,200 miles on it, burn holes in the back seat from cigarettes or other things. And it had a 5-speed manual transmission and crank windows and a 2-door, black with a beige interior. She still has the car, will not get rid of it. Of course, it's not worth any money, but it's sentimental value. But there are those kinds of cars out there in the used car market that I think are real bargains not to be overlooked, especially if you're trying to save a few bucks.
Absolutely. For example, my daughter went out recently and bought a 3-year-old used Hyundai Kona that only had 12,000 miles on it coming off of a 3-year lease. So she found, quite a great specimen for her. I think the crucial thing is make sure you know what the car's history is. Like for a car with 1,200 miles, that's a great find, but I would be worried about why is it for sale after only 1,200 miles. Was it a lemon? Had it been in a flood? Something like that. And that's where the vehicle history report from CarFax can really save your hide.
Right. And this particular car that I bought her, it seemed to be, there was nothing wrong with it. It hadn't been wrecked, none of that stuff. But about 3,000 miles into it, after we took ownership of it, the clutch went out. And it turned out that and it had one of those slave cylinders inside the bell housing and all that sort of stuff. And it would have been fairly expensive to fix had I not bought it through the dealership because it came with a limited warranty that it covered that. Yeah. So that's something else to keep in mind.
I absolutely agree. So a lot of people think that all extended warranties, which isn't your situation, but for a lot of folks, the extended warranty is an option. To me, as long as you can negotiate the price to a reasonable amount, they'll very often start at $3,000 or so to get one. I have negotiated several times for used cars. The last one was several years ago, but like $1,600. And for me, every time it's paid off. My son had a Ford Escape, and he left all the windows open in a thunderstorm in Illinois, and it poured water right into the transmission, right through the gear selector. And it was a $3,000 fix that was covered by that extended warranty. So, there's some peace of mind there. Yes, there's an expense, and yes, you might not ever use it. But to me, that really paid off.
Well, we see so many warranties now after the warranty is over with your regular car, whether it be extended. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And I had to deal with one just a few years ago, a friend of mine's car, and it was an absolute nightmare dealing with this car. Well, we'll cover that, but we won't cover this, that kind of thing. My take is on it, if you've got a car that you've done all the homework on it, you've got your CarFax, you've done everything right. Yep. If you want to have an extended warranty, my suggestion is, of course, if it's not too much, set aside $50 a month, put it in a special account, and that is your rainy day CarFix account, because that's what you're going to do if you have an extended warranty.
Yeah, for sure. And then you still have the money if you never need it, which is the real benefit of that. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
No, absolutely.
What is it? What's a good bargain in the used car market right now?
So used sedans are a great bargain right now. Americans love pickup trucks. They love SUVs. And so there are a lot of used just cars out there that can be had for not a ton of money and with not a ton of mileage on them either. Now, I will say that back in 2021 into 2022, leasing this country took a huge dip. It was tough to get credit. And so there's many fewer leased cars coming off of leases than there were, say, in 2023, 2024. So that makes it a little harder to find those deals. But, there are a lot of good, solid, Honda Civic, Honda Accord, late model Chevy Malibus, the Toyota Camry. There's a bunch of cars out there that can be had for not that much money that get really good gas mileage these days, have decent power, and are going to be solid, reliable, transportation for you. I don't know about 75 Altimas, but these other cars would probably do all right.
The one that was in the race down at Cleus McFarland's place.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely hysterical. All right, so let's take that one step further. Yeah. Had somebody ask me not too long ago, well, I found a car that I'm really interested in, and it's at a Hertz or National Car Sale place. I'm going, I don't know as if I would go that route, because it may have a CarFax, it may not have been wrecked. But, dude, when is the last time you had a rent car that you didn't really rev it up, trash it out, hit the emergency brake, do ugly things to it because it's not yours?
I've never done that.
You're a liar.
No, I haven't.
Well, they're definitely, there are definitely two schools of thought there. Some people think like you do, and frankly, like I do. I've seen what, I rent a lot of cars for business, for travel. And I've seen what other drivers can do. Now, that being said, though, the rental car companies have to really work those cars over, and they maintain them, and they keep them going, and they make sure that they're getting all the regular maintenance. So I fall into your camp, but I know there are other people out there who swear by them as a great value just because of that aroma of rental that's on them.
Now, I'm going to use that line somewhere.
The
rental aroma. That's perfect.
There you go. You just tagged
it. We're using that line.
I had a rental car. It was an Altima, black Altima, beige seats, nothing special, little 4-cylinder in New Orleans. And
a rent car.
Get it at the airport, whatever Hertz. It was Hertz. And then a few weeks later, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I swear to God, I had the same car. I mean, it had the same dirt on it, the same interior. It
may have been.
The footprints on the ceiling, the whole thing was all the same. So I think the car was following me.
I listen. I know a lady that out there at the airport that works for a rental car firm, and she tells me that there are times, especially in weird weather, big holiday events, they'll get a one-way rental to come into Houston.
Yes.
And it seems to go in times of year and that sort of thing. And so they wind up with too many cars here in Houston, and they've got to get them back to where they were. So they rent these great big haulers. And it's very possible that you could have had the same car. Yeah, and it's two places. Yeah, it's bizarre. You really don't have a real good idea about rentals. Now, let me ask you this. How is the EV used car market? Because people are going, oh, you know, I think I'm going to go EV. Okay.
Oh, don't you know?
Well, so I think EVs are actually quite a deal still, although they're getting to be less of a deal. Like every other segment, their prices are going up too. But I think a lot of consumers are treating EVs like they treat their iPhone or their Pixel phone, which is they want the newest with the newest technology and the newest features, and frankly, the longest range. So if you can live in a place where you can charge at home, and I think that's crucial if you have an EV, you got to be able to charge at home. But if you can do that, and you run errands or you go to work in a normal week, a car with 150 to 200 miles of range is going to cost you about $8 a week for all of your transportation compared to what you would pay in gas. So I'm a fan of EVs. They're not for everybody. If you live in a city, if you live in a place where you can't charge it, the national infrastructure for charging is not great. But their prices right now, the used prices, are really pretty good. So as long as it's, to me, not your primary car, the one that, one weekend you got to go to grandma's 5 hours away. But for, day-to-day use, I think they're kind of a steal.
So does it make a difference what kind? I mean, does Tesla get more money than, say, for instance, a Hyundai EV?
It's really shifting. So Tesla did for the longest time because they were the majority of the market. But Hyundai and Kia have put out a lot of EVs and are selling a lot of EVs right now. Mercedes and Audis have some, but those tend to be very expensive, and on resale they're not so cheap. Like a used Hyundai Kona EV is really kind of a good bargain these days. Ford's got a fair amount of Mach-E's that are out there. I love driving the Mach-E. I think it's a good-looking car. It's very spacious. So there are some choices out there that used to be only Tesla, but there's a lot of other players that have a lot of other cars in the market now.
So if I'm in the used car market, whether it be for my 16-year-old or 18-year-old that's going off to college, or say, for instance, the wife needs a new car. She travels, 20 miles one way to work and back for the most part. What would you say would be a good idea as to what parameters to put in place for yourself? Mileage, range, price, all of those things? Tell us.
Well, definitely range. And the beauty of most EVs is they tend to have, if they built in the last 5 years, they tend to have all of the most updated driver assist systems, right? Like blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, automatic braking. So, and for me, for young drivers, I'm not necessarily sure I would get them an EV unless they were really well trained in how to charge it and knew where to get more charging. But that blind spot warning has been shown in studies to be the most helpful tool to drivers. And for new drivers, that rear cross traffic alert that stops them from running into a post or running into a car in the parking lot at the grocery store, hugely helpful. So those are the things I would look for.
Patrick, what kind of resources do you have at CarFax.com?
So if you go to CarFax.com, we can tell you the best SUV, the best sedan. We can tell you the best EV. We can tell you the cheapest cars are out there. We even have articles and rankings on best cars for tall drivers, best cars for short drivers. So there's a lot of stuff. If you go to CarFax.com/research, on that page, it'll show you every ranking we have, and you can figure out what's going to be the right car for you. And then, of course, when you go to our listings, you get a free CarFax report with every used car listing. So you don't have to worry if the dealer's going to give it to you or not. It's right there free on the site.
Patrick, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have a great summer. Let's catch up again this fall.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Coming up, Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and we're going to get to Mr. Marr's car review, the Ford GT Mustang.
Oh.
I'll have the stories making automotive news headlines. Stay with us. The award-winning InWheelTime Car Talk Show continues after this quick break. The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Loopy Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Loopy Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Loopy Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Loopy Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Loopy experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Loopy beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Loopy Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Loopy Tortilla, he's pretty good. The InWheelTime Car Talk Show thanks you for 14 wonderful years. Yep, our first show aired May 7th, 2011 on a local radio station. Then it was a move to the digital world and social media, and you followed. Thank you. We continue to build and grow our fan base, and it's all because of you and your auto enthusiast friends. We appreciate your support. It's always great to see you at our remote broadcasts, and we hope you'll continue to stop by and say hello. It's been a great ride, and we hope to bring you more fun and adventure right here on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show.
Lone Star Street Rod Association State Run, our next remote broadcast gathering, so be sure and join us from Granbury, Texas, 9 to noon on Saturday. Mr. Mars wanted to push it to 10 to 1, and I'm going, we've been promoting 9 to noon. I think we need to stick with that because next month at this time, dude, it gets hot up there.
It gets hot at 7 o'clock in the morning.
And you know what? If we do our homework, we'll have some guests already in place, ready to go at 9 o'clock. I think we're going to be good.
We'll be fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, I to me it makes sense in so many ways. It just
guests. He's worried about the guests. And you know what? We've got enough BS between the three of us that if we don't have a guest right there,
Don't forget
right
David.
then,
David's full of BS.
well, there's four of us.
Hot air then,
You're
yeah.
exactly right. So that's going to be Saturday, June 14th, 9 to noon, right here on your favorite streaming and podcast source, the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's get to this hour's car review. We're a little bit late doing that. Mr. Mars has the GT Ford Mustang that he wants to talk to us about.
And I really do. Now, this is the 7th generation of the Ford Mustang, so it's been around a while. It's got some new sheet metal lines on it, but this is the Mustang GT Premium.
That's good looking, brother.
Yeah, it is.
Now, this car comes in 4 trim levels. Excuse me, 5. I can't count. 5 trim levels, with the GT Premium being the top of the line just short of the new this year Dark Horse. That's really kind of more of a track car. Now, this car is assembled in Flat Rock, Michigan.
All right.
It is the 2024 GT Coupe Premium is the trim level that we're working with. And for some reason, your government calls it a subcompact car, which okay. It does say it will seat 4. I want to point out
it's a 4-seat sports car. Let's just leave it at that.
Sports car that only weighs 3,800 pounds, so it's nice and light. Front seat, I want to point out, legroom 44.5 inches. Rear seat legroom 29.0 inches. Legroom, rear seat. Put the little ones back there. Up front, you're going to find that you've got the Mustang lighting approach lamp, so you got the little Mustang emblem that's really cool looking on the ground. Auto LED headlamps, LED lights. We got the sequential taillights. That's something that I've always loved about the Mustang.
Mine's got that.
sequential. I really like that. Looks really cool. Rain sensing wipers. Got the Brembo braking on it. Black calipers with white lettering. It's kind of different for the GT package. It's got a rear wing on it. It's called the performance wing because it's not just a little spoiler sticking up there. It's got some angles and some things to it that's supposed to help it whenever you get up over speeds you're not supposed to be doing on the street. It's got the active valve exhaust system. Now, I love this. Got different settings you can put on it. You're on the track, got a track mode. You can put the exhaust on it, drowned out all the road noise. Really cool going down the road. But it's also what I got what I call the 2 a.m. setting. You want to come home at 2 a.m. kind of quiet. You can put it down, and it muffles it down.
What do you know about that?
I'm just saying I've heard stories about people that need to
You're
kind of
such a
sneak
liar.
home at
No, he's
2
just always
a.m.
coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what it is.
Exactly. Well, he's meeting his granddaughter that's just coming in the front door
Yeah,
from work
there
at
you go.
half the night.
Yeah, yeah. And we were rolling on some optional 19-inch wheels. It has some 355 gears in the back of this thing. So it's got a little juice on it. So it's got, what I really liked, it's got some of the newer age styling on it, but it's got a lot of the classic Mustang touches, you know, like the taillights and the hood scoop, things like that. Now you get to the interior, and this is where it's been some updates done. Got a black leather onyx leather trim across the interior, front bucket seats. The rear seat is a split folding. It's got ambient lighting on the inside of it that you can adjust. Now what's new is it's got a 12.4-inch LCD digital instrument cluster that you can adjust and kind of range the way you want it. 13.2-inch LCD center stack screen. This is where you're going to find your convenience controls, your navigation, your audio, the whole infotainment system set up. It also has a wireless charger down at the bottom of that stack, and it's kind of vented, but for mine, it made my phone hot, and it would actually shut down for some reason. Kind of weird on the way that worked. Got paddle shifters, 12-speaker B&O audio system, and it handles the Ford Sync 4 is what is the infotainment system. And I thought it was a little slow reacting, so I could literally crank the car up, back out, and be headed down the road before it cycles up and brings up all the things that I want to mess with on it that I'm supposed to set.
I want to go back to the B&O sound system. Isn't it the B&O Railroad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Used to be a B&O Railroad.
Yeah, but you got to pass go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Up under the hood, 5.0-liter V8. Now, this is the engine they've had in it for several years, different variations. This one has 480 horsepower.
Dang.
At 7,150 RPM. Now, it also has 486 pound-feet of torque at 7,200 RPM. So you got to wind it up, and when you get up, it's all up there in that upper power band. We had the 10-speed automatic behind it. Now, the EPA says you should be looking for about 16 miles to the gallon city, 24 on the highway, and 19 combined. I drove this vehicle 446.5 miles, and I averaged 18.6 miles per gallon in it, and I was quite happy with that,
Considering you're a lead foot.
Well, it becomes very obvious with the lightweight and high horsepower why you see so many of these out on the road driven by younger people. It's easy to get into it. It really is. So the styling.
The throttle is what he's talking about.
Yeah. I say I like the styling on it. It does create some vision issues, a few little blind spots whenever you get to the pillars, particularly on the fastback model. And you can, if you're low riding in it, if you're being cool and low riding, it's definitely there. Got a typically firm ride for a sports car, but you can turn up the audio and the exhaust and drown out all that business. Base trim price on this vehicle is $47,390, which is another reason you see so many of them.
$47,000, okay.
Yep. The base model price is $31,920, and I want to point out that is a 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine with 315 horsepower. So this is not a stripper model with no juice to it. Our MSRP is tested $61,580. Had a few options on it. Looking for something to compare it to. I mean, obviously the Dodge Challenger that they don't make anymore, but I found a 2023. They started around 30. 24 Chevrolet Camaro starts at $32,495, and the 24 Nissan Z started at $42,970. So there's some more two-door coupe, small 4-passenger vehicles that you can compare it to, but it's definitely the Mustang. If you're looking for a Mustang, it's one you're looking for.
Thank you, sir. Time now for the cruise in and events calendars. Jeffrey has that.
You betcha. So next week, the 24th, you got Saturday at the Ranch. This is in College Station, Texas, 4115 Texas 6 Frontage Road from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, this is actually for two-wheelers and four-wheelers. It's going to be at the Ranch Harley-Davidson. The Ranch RV in College Station is for cars and motorcycles, trucks, everything with a wheel. So they've got, they're hosting some exciting things. They've got beverages, both adults
Wheelbarrow
and non-adult.
races?
No, but they've got the Glitz Dolls are coming. The Glitz Dolls will be there. I have no idea what that means. DJ Nick
Don's
Catalina's
smiling
Beats.
like he knows.
Yep. And Macondo Grill Food Truck's going to be there. So
Barbies.
very exciting. Again, on the 24th, you got Montgomery Cruise, weekly cruise into Montgomery, 943 Eva Street in Montgomery. So that goes from 6 to 9. It's behind McDonald's and O'Reilly's in the parking lot by the Brookshire Brothers. So if they're still open, go get yourself a suit. On the 25th, you got rides.
Soup?
A suit.
A suit.
New suit. A Brooks Brothers suit. Might get some shoes, too. Rides and Coffee on May 25th. That's Sunday, 9 a.m. to noon. It's in Katy, Texas. Got a lot of stuff going on there for Rides and Coffee. And then you got the Trucks and Tri-Fives meet. Very little information on this right now, but it's next Sunday, the 25th. It's at 501 South Austin in Georgetown, Texas, which is north of Austin, Texas. So that's going on. And, of course, we've got our Granbury event coming up on June 14th. 3-day event. We'll be there from whenever, from 9 to noon, 10 to 5, 6 to 4, whatever.
We'll be there. Look for us.
There.
We'll be stalking around in the park in the park there.
We'll be there.
Google affiliate Waymo said it's recalling more than 1,200 self-driving vehicles to update software and address risks of collisions in chains, gates, and other roadway barriers. After U.S. auto safety investigators opened a probe last year, the recall affects 1,212 Waymo vehicles operating on the company's older fifth-generation automated driving system software. Waymo has over 1,500 vehicles on the road across San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and in Austin, Texas. NHTSA opened an investigation into the performance of Waymo's self-driving vehicles in May of last year after reports of its robo-taxis exhibiting driving behavior that potentially violated traffic safety laws. Whoops.
You know, we should have asked Sergeant Woodard if he's ever pulled over a
self-driving car.
Yeah.
The agency said several incidents under investigation involved collisions with clearly visible objects that a competent driver would be expected to avoid. Waymo, GM's Cruise come under increased regulatory scrutiny following a 2023 incident where a pedestrian was seriously injured by a Cruise vehicle. And Nissan Motor Company plans to cut 20,000 jobs globally as part of a ramped-up restructuring campaign under new CEO Ivan Espinosa. I wonder how much he's making. New plan calls for more than 10,000 personnel cuts, in addition to some 9,000 already planned as part of the embattled Japanese carmakers' revival plan. That's according to broadcaster NHK and Nikkei Business. The cuts will happen in Japan and overseas, they said. So, Nissan, serious issues they've had for several years since Carlos hijacked the company, went to jail, busted out, took a plane to wherever it was, Libya or somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
In a box. In a box to get out of the country. Now, there's a guy that made, what, $100 billion friggin' dollars.
It was a nice box.
It was a nice box.
It was a nice box.
That's it.
$100 million box. Would have been. If you got out, it would have been.
Yeah, these CEOs make way too much money. And once they get all their money, and he didn't, but he robbed the bank once he got back to Libya, wherever it was he went to.
Well, I think he still had a couple of houses. And,
Yes.
It's not like he was, like you said, he was
He
a
was-
nice box.
It wasn't liquid.
There you go.
Liquidity in his
Hey, we'd love to hear from you.
investments.
Shoot us an email. The address here is info@InWheelTime.com. We will be back after these quick messages.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The InWheelTime Car Talk Show thanks you for 14 wonderful years. Yep, our first show aired May 7th, 2011 on a local radio station. Then it was a move to the digital world and social media, and you followed. Thank you. We continue to build and grow our fan base, and it's all because of you and your auto enthusiast friends. We appreciate your support. It's always great to see you at our remote broadcasts, and we hope you'll continue to stop by and say hello. It's been a great ride, and we hope to bring you more fun and adventure right here on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show.